Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the Automation Campaign. In today's episode, we will be embarking on a new project, being a more expensive sporty car, and I guess you could call it a successor to the Snap, our previous supercar. But this car's going to be have a lot more technology in it, let's put it that way. So yeah, let's see what we can make of it. And you're probably wondering what kind of an engine we would put in such a machine, and this is the engine. It is a 4-litre V8, pretty much 2 of the 4 cylinders we have glued together. It has 520 horsepower, almost 800 newton meters of torque, and I think it sounds amazing. Quite the machine, eh? I really like this engine, and I'm going to make a couple variants of it. I'm going to make a smaller GT variant of this engine because this is the more powerful sort of supercar engine that we're going to be using. And I'm going to make maybe like a 400-350 horsepower GT variant so that if we ever want to make more of a GT variant of the supercar, we have the engine for it. So yeah, let's go. In fact, we will make it a naturally aspirated engine, and I managed to get 360 horsepower out of this engine, and I absolutely love it. I think it sounds even more pure than the turbo did, because the turbo just doesn't get in the way, so this is what it sounds like. Yeah, I absolutely love this engine. I'm so looking forward to putting it into our cars. It's finally proper power enters the company, and I'm really excited for it. And with a total projected cost of about 600 million, I think this is going to be an investment well made for this engine. One thing we are going to do though is we are going to reassign the 4-cylinder we have into the huge factory which I'm quite surprised I haven't done yet. So, because it'll mean we'll just have a lot more of the engine. So I believe is it really that out of date? We need to get a facelift of that engine going if that's it is that out of date. Wow, okay, so we need to get a facelift of this engine going so that we can, you know what, we won't actually retool the factory, we'll just facelift the engine and then put it in there that way, so yeah. And in fact, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start downsizing our engine. So instead of facelifting a 20-year-old engine at this point and trying to keep that alive, how about we just make the next generation mass production engine? Well, that being a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder. Yes, it is getting, what, 20% smaller, but I think we can still manage to get a decent amount of power out to this engine. So yeah, let's see what we can do with it. As for the base of this engine, it's going to be an all-aluminium 4-cylinder with 16 valves, as per usual of engines of this time. And yeah, I think we'll just make a normal engine here. So we're going to do like balance shafts and all cast with hyper-eutectic cast pistons, because they help with fuel economy and stuff like that. Another thing we'll do is increase compression to the point where we will be gaining a lot of efficiency from it. Same goes for the cam profile. We're going to lower that to about 2,200 with the peak torque RPM, because that will increase our fuel efficiency a lot. Lower the springs and lifters. VVT, VVL will have all of that. Then we'll have the sporty part of the engine come in at about 52 to 100 RPM, with the VVL itself coming in at about 4,000. Let's see, about 6,500 RPM limit should be fine. We'll increase quality on that. No turbo on this variant of the engine, but we will go with direct injection. This is going to take a long time to produce, I think, but I think it'll be worth it. So let's see what we can do here. We'll go with a variable intake, as that means we can get both low and high RPMs at the same time, or the power from both high and low RPM. And yeah, we'll go with a cast. Let's go with a cast mid to get a bit more of that mid-end power, that mid to high-end power. And I'm not sure why this graph is still here. That's from the That's from the V8. But yeah, 120 horsepower. That's not a lot. So yeah, let me do a little bit of fiddling and see how I can get this to work better. And yeah, I mean, this isn't the perfect engine. I would have really liked more power from this engine, but I physically cannot get more out of the engine than this. I have tried really hard, but I didn't want to sacrifice a huge amount of fuel economy for the sake of a tiny bit more power. So yeah, this is what we're going to be stuck with, and we're going to have to work with it, sadly. So yeah, let me go make the other two engines. And the economy variant is even more upsetting. It only has 100 horsepower, but it has over 26% fuel economy. So, fuel economy? I thought it would be fuel efficiency. I mean, it is very, very fuel efficient. I wonder what sort of fuel economy ratings we can get on cars with this engine, but 100 horsepower really isn't much, so this is going to be realistically a city-only engine, so yeah, we're going to have to complete design on that. But the last thing we're going to make is a fun little turbo variant, so let's see what we can make of that. And so, with a lot of work done to this engine, we managed to get 250 horsepower out of this engine, which was the same as the first generation turbo of the 2 litre, which is just crazy to think about. I think it even has more torque than the first generation 2 litre, and yeah, I'm really happy with the outcome of this engine. The turbo does spool a little late, but I'm not too fussed about that as this is supposed to be that sporty engine which you're going to be driving on the higher rev band anyway. But yeah, really happy with the outcome of this engine, so let's see what we can make of it. And in order to get the most out of this engine, I have decided to make that huge factory, which was previously a large 3 factory, a huge factory, meaning that we will be producing almost 35,000 engines a month, which will hopefully keep us going until the end of the campaign, unless people just genuinely really want our cars. But 35,000 engines is a lot of engines, and I think a 1.25 billion projected total cost, we can live with that. So we won't take a load for that, as we do have a sufficient budget, and we will sign off on this. I think this is going to be one of the biggest investments we'll ever make going into our future. So yeah, let's do it. Speaking of this being the biggest investment, I may have just messed up and completely forgot to actually focus on the reliability and the process and all that sort of good stuff on this engine, and just skipped over it and went straight to the factory. So yeah, the biggest investment will come at the risk of this being one of the we'll have to hope that this was a good 50-50-50-50 preset, because everything on that slider scale will have been at 50, but yeah, we'll have to just try and work with it. But yeah, this will be the platform that we'll be working with. It does look a lot like a Porsche, and I will make sure that when I actually design this car that it does not look like a Porsche. But we don't have any other we don't have any good alternatives for a sports car in this time period, which is quite annoying. But yeah, we're going to go with pretty much just what we've been doing before, apart from we're going to switch from steel to glued aluminium for the chassis material, so this could be very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this will turn out to be. It will definitely save on the weight. It does reduce production efficiency. All of them reduce. Okay, hold on. Is this... We're going to go with a light AHS steel. Because otherwise, apparently this will reduce production efficiency, and we definitely don't want that, so yeah. Light AHS steel it is. So yeah, let's see if the engine actually fits in here. I hope it does, so we'll take the V8. We'll do the GT variant, it does fit. So we'll do the turbo variant first, sorry, I accidentally just clicked on that first, so we'll do that. It'll be rear-wheel drive through... This one will be an advanced manual, an auto manual, because that's it's not a sequential, it's just a manual gearbox with an automatic blob on top of it. But we'll do a 6-speed, we'll call it a sequential. It isn't a sequential, but we'll call it a sequential. And it has a really high top speed, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a clutch LSD, because that is a very sporty LSD. We'll go sports tyre compound, and we can make some wider tyres, and we'll do them with a slight offset, so the front tyres are a bit thinner. Alloy rims. 18 inches, that's very big, but I do like the look of that. We'll go vented 4 pistons and vented 2 pistons for the brakes. Make them a bit bigger and a bit more sporty. Now, I have no idea if this is actually going to work as a platform right now, so yeah, we're going to go with sports undertray. We're going to go with a sports interior with a premium CD. I would have liked infotainment at this point, like even if it's just a basic one, but we'll do a bit of quality on that. And annoyingly, we can only have 2 seats in it, but it'll have to do. We'll do a variable hydraulic steering with full traction control, so electronic stability control. Advanced 2000 safety, and yeah, let's go with active sport suspension with adaptive. Oh, we can't do sway bars. Actually, no, we don't need sway bars, so we'll do semi-active dampers. And yeah, we should have a really nice car here. The car does terminally oversteer because the engine is in a bit of a weird placement, but this is going to be very difficult to work with, I think. I'll make it work. Oh, that's because the front is gripping up a lot, so let's do something like this, something like this, and I think I've accidentally put a utility preset on there. So that's the normal preset. The car does still terminally oversteer, which is quite annoying, but we can get that to work. So yeah, let me see what I can make of this vehicle, and I'll be back with you guys shortly. And here it is, and honestly, probably not my favourite design ever, but I do quite like it. It's a bit different from what we've had in the company so far, but I am really challenging myself to make more and more custom designs, and I think this is the result of the beginning of a transition for me in terms of vehicle designs. And yeah, I think it looks alright. It was a lot of work to try and get the stuff to work like I wanted, But in the end I got there, and yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with the outcome. I mean, there's stuff like this that I'm not really a huge fan of. I'm not sure how I would have made that custom, and yeah, I mean, it's just managed to get the interior and everything. I think it does look nice. If I could see this being a realistic design, as it's quite simplistic, which the cars of the time were. But yeah, time to make the GT version. And this is the result. It has the smaller engine in it, and it has some more comfortable suspension. And honestly, I've just done a little bit of tweaking here and there to try and get the drivability of this car a little higher and reduce the sportiness of it. And I think it's turned out looking amazing. This looks a little weird, I'll give you that. Well, I think it doesn't look too bad. It makes the car look a little different from the time, and I do quite like it. It's something different, so yeah. Let's put these cars up for sale and see what they can do. So let's have a look. I believe the engine was 72 months in which I did it, so we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to optimize the process a little bit. The reliability can stay down. We'll put a little bit more pressure on the workers, I think, and increase the speed price-wise a little bit. And this is going to be a really expensive endeavor, but I think this is going to be worth it. I think we deserve something. We deserve a performance car like this. So let's have a look. So we'll use the old factory, which we used for the old Snap. This is called the 520 VMR. 520 being, actually, let's call it the VMR, for Vilulf Motorsport Racing, which is supposed to be our performance division of this company. And we are producing way too many cars. Oh dear. I have made sure that we don't produce as many engines because we've got a tiny engine factory, but yeah, we are producing way too many engines. So let's... No, that's bad. Let's do more handcrafted work. High tooling. So we'll take away on the automation. How can I make it so that... We'll take away like the amount of shifts we can do. That's not doing anything for the number of our cars. It's just making the cars more expensive. Oh no. Right, looks like we're making ourselves a new tiny factory. So in this configuration, we are producing about 2,000 cars a month, which is sort of what we are projecting to try and sell. And yeah, I think this is how we're going to do it. For some reason the engine factory still claim they're overworked, but I don't believe that because I did make sure we'd make at least 1,000 of each a month. So yeah, let's take... Oh, it's because this factory is still... Right, now we're way under. Actually, we can now make this factory a little bit better. I completely forgot to deselect that factory. So let's have a look here. So we can make a medium 2 factory. So we're producing about 3,000 a month. So we do have a little bit of surplus on the cars. And they're going to cost a lot to make, but we are going to sell them on for a huge profit. And hopefully these cars will turn over and make us a lot of money. And let's have a look what it's forecasting just from a base price, and honestly that's not too bad. We are making stable profits, but what we are going to do is we're going to price the turbo at 60,000 and the GT variant at 55,000, and let's have a look at what it's projecting us here. Stable income is what it's projecting us here, which is quite interesting considering this is a performance car, like a really expensive performance car, but I guess it'll be desirable over a longer period of time. Yeah, there you go. And that way we'll just be making stable profit on this car. So yeah, I think this is what we're going to do. It's going to be an expensive endeavor, but I think it'll be one that's worth it. So another billion. So this entire endeavor, I believe, costs us nearly 3 billion credits to do, but we could do it and we will sign off. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into BeamNG Drive. And it turns out the port into BeamNG did not quite go as planned. Especially, well, the front end looks alright. The rear end, however, yeah, tail lights are missing. But that doesn't mean we can't still drive the car. And yeah, let's actually see how it does. Oh, it's fast. Oh, it's very fast. Oh, it sounds really good as well. And it turns incredibly as well. Let's go down here. This is the GT variant, so this is the variant that which would be for roads like this, the sort of country roads. Oh, it is very fast. Oh my goodness. So something about this car is forcing it to be very oversteery. Oh, can we make it? Nope. Oh, this is a really nice car to drive, especially on roads like this. Letting the automatic gearbox choose its gears, lower the gears down so the engine goes nice and quiet, and then just enjoying the views of this beautiful map. And if you want to go for a little bit of a throttle run, the engine is right there with you. I really enjoy this car. Yes, this specific model doesn't look very good with the taillights. Oh, the way this car just takes corners, especially at low speeds, is something else. At high speeds, for some reason, it tends to oversteer a lot. But honestly, this car does still drive really nicely, especially on little parts of the map like this. This is amazing to drive. It looks so beautiful, and this car just fits in, especially with that engine. It's really, I mean, this is a very weird mix of car. It's a Swedish, Japanese car taking on Italian roads, but it does it so nicely. Ooh, a bit of lift off oversteer. Oh, controlled it. This car, I absolutely love this car, but you know which car I'm probably going to love even more? The turbo variant. And this right here is the car I'm most looking forward to driving, and the taillights haven't ported over either, which is very annoying. I have no idea why it's done this. I've made sure that both of them looked good before they left, and yeah, I just don't understand it, but let's give it a little bit of a launch. Actually, before we do that, let's turn off traction control systems. And 3, 2, 1, launch. Bit of wheel spin off the launch. An incredibly fast 0 to 100 time. Oh my goodness, this car is really fast. Hard on the brakes. Let's go into manual a little bit. Oh, it drifts. Oh, it has lift off oversteer and on throttle oversteer. Oh my goodness. Definitely some tuning would need to be done to make this car drivable. This car is for some reason so difficult to drive, but it is so much fun. Oh my, the way it just takes corners is incredible, and then the power is just relentless. It's just that. Oh, did I somehow kept it together? No, I haven't. This car is just beyond mad. So let's go take on this final section of the track. This car's already going much faster than any other car I think I've ever taken down here. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's brake a little bit earlier than I usually would. Maybe a good idea. Big drift. More drifts. This car is just crazy. It's absolutely just... Yeah. I am crashing a lot. But it's like a controllable crash. It's like fun crashes, if there's such thing. But the instant oversteer you get as soon as you don't put anything through the wheels, like there, it's just... Can we keep it out the wall? Yes, we can. Why do we make supercars for people who actually need to drive? We need to make some cars that are just easily driven, that don't require lots of input, like cars like this. I am really focusing on driving, but it's just anytime you go on the throttle, it just gives up. So let's see if we can actually do anything decent in this car. Going down to second gear, going up to third early so we can get a bit of a better exit, which seems to have worked. We'll go onto the brakes a little earlier because of the high speed, which was apparently way too early. Oh, and the curb seems to have spun us. This car is very prone to spinning. Even though I've got the wider rear tyres, I've got much more downforce on the rear of the car. It's just... as soon as you try anything, it just decides it doesn't want to do it. But yeah, this car has been super fun to make for you guys. It does look a bit different, I do understand that, but I've had a lot of fun making it, so yeah. I would like to thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and bye bye!